had the woman said she was going to compete against a corpse. Didn't even want to hear about the name of Marian. It's like, I don't get it.
If you don't want to hear about someone's like dead wife or dead husband, like that's like saying you don't want to know anything about their life. I think you and my mom would really get along. Besides somebody saying they didn't want to compete with a corpse, what were some of your dating experiences like?
A few years ago, I actually continued to go out with a woman for about 4 or 5 months. Why? I don't know. It didn't get anywhere, you know. And at that time, I was only a few years out. And this woman had been widowed herself for 6 years. And she hadn't gone out with anyone.
Oh.
But she had a little kind of support she was looking for that I couldn't give her, you know. And, you know, and then, you know, I didn't like the fact, you know, I had the woman said she was going to compete against a corpse. I also had a few other women that didn't even want to hear about the name of Marian. You know, it's like, I don't get it. You know,
that's
like I got up and I said, that's it. You know, goodbye. You know,
because kind of like saying like they don't want to hear about your life. You know.
No, I didn't want to get into my life.
No, I'm saying like if you don't want to hear about someone's like dead wife or dead husband, like that's like saying you don't want to know anything about their life. Because, you know, that person, Marian, was like a huge part of your life, like your entire life story.
Well, yeah, but in the beginning, I did make mistakes like go on. And in fact, I tried to counter. I've been talking about Marian, but I say, "Oh, shut up! You tell me about yourself. I won't say anything," which was kind of like, yeah. But no, I never intend to spend the entire conversation talking about Marian. I mean, that's but if I say things like, "Oh, we used to go to this restaurant here," or "We used to go, this is what we used to do."
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Harm in saying that? Yeah. You know, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm on your side on this one.
Well, always good to have you on my side. But you know, I'm just thinking, like, geez, maybe I ought to. I'm doing a lot of studying and taking courses online, and that's how I'm trying to that's what I'm getting involved in. But you know, from meeting women, I think I need at least a long break.
Yeah. Where are you meeting these women?
And maybe, well, of course, you go to the double dating sites. You know, it's like, well, the pandemic helped out, you know, greatly because I used to refer to COVID dates. In other words, you went for a cup of coffee or you just want to walk separate from it, and there really wasn't anything else to do. But, yeah, and I was thinking to myself, well, you know, fate's been both good and bad to me. So maybe I just let old fate do what it wants, and we'll see.
What are you studying right now? Like, what kind of classes are you taking?
Well, I'm mostly in Jewish studies, and in fact, I did a course on first century Judaism and early Christianity, which I want to delve into more. But yeah, we took a course from the guy who's a professor of Jewish studies at Holy Cross in Worcester. You know, so in some other subjects that I did take. So that's been good. I mean, Mondays were turned into learning days, and these are also starting from the pandemic on, you know, courses on Zoom.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's something I prefer now because I get lazy.
Yeah.
No,
once you don't have to leave your house, trying to leave it gets a little harder, I have to say. Thanks for Asking is a podcast about life, about all kinds of things. We take listener calls, we read books, we do all kinds of stuff because life is complicated and so are people. You can get full episodes of Thanks for Asking on my Substack, which is linked in the description.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be permanently stuck to be here, but it's just convenient. And so, and then I've got another course coming up in Talman in March. So, yeah, and then I was thinking, like, geez, if people still do, you still do podcasts?
Yeah,
and
people still do them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about doing like romance in the 70s, but I mean, age 70s. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
I want to listen to that.
Well, we'll see. You've been at this for quite a while, so.
Yeah, but I mean, trust me, anyone can do it. Like.
Oh, I'm sure. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say, well, my immediate goal is get my taxes out of the way.
Oh, God, yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, no, it's much easier now. It took Marian, God bless her memory. She wasn't a mismanager of finances, but she worked for herself as a psychologist. And so she didn't pay quarterly.
Oh, damn, Marian, you got to pay quarterly. God.
Well, she fell behind in reporting.
Yeah.
And so it took me like 3 years.
Bless
with
her.
the help of a good accountant.
Yep.
To get through this stuff. And so now I think I've got it. A lot of people think the IRS will never get you. They work slow.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll get it. They'll get their money. Okay.
Well, maybe Trump will get the IRS and then we're going to worry about it. No.
Good God. I mean, I'm a little bit of a Marian. Matthew, thank God for Matthew, because now he does all of that, because I was so disorganized. And he was like, did you ever invoice for this? And I was like, oh, no, nope. Oops. Did you pay your quarterly taxes? I'm like, I feel like I did. And then, so now he's in charge of all that, because, we need self-employed people do need a person who is organized and can do that
well,
stuff.
It's my fault for letting it be the chancellor of the exchequer. That was a little joke. I mean, like I say, she didn't mismanage money, not at all, but.
She's just, she had other things on her mind. Okay. We have other things. We have other strengths.
Of course. She had plenty of them, but we had this inheritance coming, and I was kind of like, I remember dropping a payment off at the post office, and then it was another one of those moments. I'm in a car. I think you remember when we did our podcast that I looked at her to the passenger seat and I smiled. Well, I looked at the passenger seat and I started laughing. I said, she thought about Margot's money and she thought, oh, we'll pay it off.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, well, someday, be great.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not sweating it. Okay.
So, like she knew me, but I knew her too. So, and that's why it was one of those times where empty passenger seat where I'm smiling and laughing and people think it was crazy.
Yeah. I feel that sometimes in the car. Like I drove by this place that I used to go with Aaron. I was in Minnesota for a work trip and I was driving up north past, where his grandpa had what they called the ranch, which is this like little piece of land, and where Aaron used to have parties. And I like drove by it, and I swear to God, I felt him in the car with me. Like it just felt like fruit. Like I could feel him in the car with me as I passed the ranch. It was so cool. That was a little excerpt from Thanks for Asking. If you want full episodes, audio and video, you can go to the link in our description.